Stay tuned after the presentation for an extended ending. Welcome, viewers, to another thrilling episode of Scripted by Machines. In this episode, we delve into the dark and sinister world of horror legends to bring you a showdown of epic proportions. Today's combatants are none other than the indomitable Jason Voorhees and the demonic force of vengeance, Pumpkinhead. Jason Voorhees, the relentless killer from Crystal Lake, has become an icon of terror since his first appearance in Friday the 13th. Born with a disfigured face and tormented by a tragic past, Jason rose from the depths of Crystal Lake to exact vengeance on those who dared to enter his territory. Armed with his signature machete and possessing an uncanny ability to withstand mortal wounds, Jason is an unstoppable force driven by an insatiable bloodlust. On the other hand, we have Pumpkinhead, a demon summoned from the depths of hell to enact vengeance on behalf of those wronged. First introduced in the 1988 film Pumpkinhead, this grotesque creature is called upon by a witch through a dark ritual, fueled by the grief and rage of those seeking retribution. With its towering, nightmarish form and supernatural strength, Pumpkinhead is a terrifying embodiment of vengeance, bound to the anguish of its summoner. As we prepare for this epic clash, the question on everyone's mind is, who will emerge victorious? Jason Voorhees, with his relentless strength and regenerative abilities, is a force to be reckoned with. Yet, Pumpkinhead's supernatural origin and unyielding drive for vengeance make it a formidable opponent. Will Jason's brute force overcome the dark magic of Pumpkinhead, or will the demon of vengeance claim another soul in its unending quest for retribution? Stay tuned as we dive into this chilling encounter, exploring the depths of horror and vengeance in a battle for the ages. Let the showdown begin. In a quiet, rural town, the grief-stricken wails of a mother echo through the air. Her heartache is not just the pain of loss but the seething anger of injustice. Her son, an innocent teenager, has been brutally murdered, and she seeks a dark and terrible vengeance. The moon hangs high in the sky, casting a cold, silver light over the desolate landscape. Deep within the forest, hidden from the eyes of the unwary, a witch's cabin stands. It is here that desperate souls come to make bargains, and tonight, a mother seeks a retribution that only the darkest magic can provide. Marla Dixon, her face etched with grief and fury, pushes through the dense underbrush, her hands trembling as she clutches a photograph of her son, Danny. She reaches the witch's cabin, its sinister aura sending shivers down her spine. The door creaks open before she can knock, and an ancient voice beckons her inside. The interior is dimly lit by flickering candles, casting eerie shadows on the walls adorned with strange symbols and dried herbs. At the center of the room sits the witch, her eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light.
"Why have you come?"
Marla steps forward, holding out the photograph.
My son, Danny. He was killed by a monster. I want justice. I want revenge.
The witch examines the photo, her expression unreadable.
"Justice is not mine to give, but revenge, that can be arranged. Are you prepared to pay the price?"
Marla nods, her resolve unwavering.
I'll do whatever it takes.
The witch begins to chant in an ancient, forgotten tongue.
Phileus me carnes oxysus in tenebri, veni, Pumpkinhead, exurge.
The air grows thick with a palpable sense of dread. She draws a circle on the floor with salt and places various arcane objects within it, a doll, a vial of blood, and a black candle.
Et pinum mihi red, demon antiquus, ordi, tuam vindictum fan, cruciatus in forum, per noctem, vindicanum.
As she lights the candle, the flame burns with an unnatural intensity.
Pumpkinhead, demon of vengeance, hear my call. A life taken unjustly cries out for retribution. Rise and deliver your wrath upon the one called Jason Voorhees.
The ground beneath the cabin trembles, and a chilling wind sweeps through the room. The shadows seem to come alive, coalescing into a grotesque form. Pumpkinhead emerges, his eyes burning with an insatiable hunger for vengeance. Marla watches, a mix of fear and satisfaction on her face.
Find Jason Voorhees. Make him suffer for what he did to my son.
Pumpkinhead disappears into the night, moving with a supernatural grace and speed. The forest seems to part before him, guiding him towards his target. Jason Voorhees, the silent killer of Crystal Lake, is about to face a wrath unlike any he has encountered before. Meanwhile, near the murky waters of Crystal Lake, a group of young campers had hoped for a night of fun and adventure. Instead, they find themselves in the midst of a nightmare. Jason Voorhees, the relentless killer, stalks the shadows, his machete glinting ominously in the moonlight. A campfire crackles as the unsuspecting campers share ghost stories, oblivious to the real danger lurking nearby. Jason strikes without warning, his machete slicing through the air with deadly precision. One by one, the campers fall, their screams echoing through the forest. As Jason stands over his latest victim, his cold, lifeless eyes survey the carnage. He feels no remorse, only an insatiable drive to kill. But tonight, he is not alone. The forest grows darker, and the air becomes heavy with an ominous presence. The ground trembles, and the trees seem to whisper warnings as Pumpkinhead approaches. The demon of vengeance, summoned by Marla's grief and rage, has arrived at Crystal Lake. His grotesque form moves silently through the forest, his eyes glowing with an unholy fire. Jason senses the intruder before he sees him. He turns, his machete ready, as Pumpkinhead steps into the clearing. The two monsters lock eyes, each recognizing the other as a formidable foe. Without hesitation, Jason walks towards Pumpkinhead, his machete swinging in a wide arc. Pumpkinhead evades the attack with a speed that belies his size, his claws slashing at Jason's chest. The impact sends Jason staggering back, but he quickly regains his footing. The battle is fierce and brutal. Jason's raw strength and relentless aggression are matched by Pumpkinhead's supernatural agility and unyielding vengeance. The forest becomes a battlefield, trees splintering and the ground tearing under their combined fury. Jason lands a powerful blow, his machete embedding in Pumpkinhead's shoulder. The demon roars in pain, but his eyes burn with an even greater fury. With a swift motion, Pumpkinhead rips the machete from his flesh and hurls it aside. He lunges at Jason, his claws tearing through Jason's flesh, drawing blood. The fight rages on, each combatant pushing the other to their limits. Jason's indomitable will and Pumpkinhead's vengeful spirit clash in a violent dance of death. The forest bears witness to their savage struggle, the sounds of their battle echoing through the night. Jason, bloodied but unbroken, refuses to yield. He grabs a fallen tree branch and swings it with all his might, striking Pumpkinhead across the head. The demon staggers, momentarily dazed. Jason seizes the opportunity, launching a relentless series of attacks. But Pumpkinhead is far from defeated. Summoning the dark energy that fuels him, he unleashes a powerful wave of force that sends Jason crashing into a nearby tree. The impact would have killed a normal human, but Jason Voorhees is no ordinary person. He rises once more, ready to continue the fight. The clash of these titans rages on, the forest around them bearing the scars of their brutal confrontation. Jason Voorhees and Pumpkinhead, both fueled by their own dark purposes, continue their relentless assault on one another. Pumpkinhead, with a savage growl, lunges at Jason, his claws tearing through the air. Jason blocks the attack with his forearm, blood splattering from the deep gashes. He counters with a powerful punch that sends Pumpkinhead staggering back, but the demon quickly recovers, driven by the vengeance that fuels him. With a burst of supernatural speed, Pumpkinhead leaps into the air, landing a crushing blow to Jason's chest. The force of the impact sends Jason sprawling to the ground, his massive form crashing through the underbrush. As Jason lies on the ground, the world around him spins. His vision blurs, but then he catches sight of his machete, lying just a few feet away, gleaming in the moonlight. The weapon that has been his faithful companion in countless kills is now within reach. Pumpkinhead, sensing victory, advances on Jason, his claws ready to deliver the final blow. But Jason, driven by an indomitable will, reaches out and grasps the machete's handle. With a surge of strength, he pushes himself to his feet, the blade gleaming with lethal intent. As Pumpkinhead closes in, Jason rises, his movements deliberate and filled with purpose. He swings the machete with all his might, the blade arcing through the air. Pumpkinhead, caught off guard by Jason's sudden resurgence, attempts to dodge, but it's too late. The machete connects with Pumpkinhead's head, the force of the blow cleaving through the demon's skull. Pumpkinhead lets out a blood-curdling scream, his eyes blazing with fury and pain. For a moment, he stands frozen, his grotesque form trembling. With a final, agonizing roar, Pumpkinhead collapses to the ground, his body convulsing before finally going still. The forest falls silent, the echoes of their battle fading into the night. Jason stands over the fallen demon, his chest heaving with exertion, blood dripping from his wounds. Despite the injuries he has sustained, Jason remains unbroken. He watches as the lifeless body of Pumpkinhead begins to disintegrate, the dark magic that animated the demon dissipating into the night air. The vengeance that had driven Pumpkinhead is now extinguished, leaving only silence and the faint rustle of leaves. Jason Voorhees, the indomitable killer of Crystal Lake, turns and walks away from the battleground. His machete, stained with the blood of countless victims, hangs at his side. He vanishes into the shadows of the forest, leaving behind a scene of devastation and horror. In the witch's cabin, the air is thick with an unsettling quiet. Marla Dixon sits in a trance-like state, her eyes glazed over, locked in a psychic link with Pumpkinhead. Throughout the battle, she had felt every strike, every wound, and her screams and howls had echoed the violence of the clash. The witch, watching with an expression of grim satisfaction, knew the true nature of the bargain that had been struck. Now, as the battle ends and Pumpkinhead falls, Marla's body tenses and then suddenly relaxes. She becomes eerily silent, her face a mask of strange relief and sorrow. The witch steps closer, her eyes never leaving Marla.
You sought vengeance, but the price of failure is steep. Dark forces demand a balance, and now you must pay.
Marla's vision blurs, tears streaming down her face. She feels an odd sensation, a creeping dread that coils around her heart. As she tries to stand, a sharp pain shoots through her body, and she collapses back into the chair. The witch watches with a knowing look in her ancient eyes.
The curse of Pumpkinhead is not so easily ended. You wished for vengeance, and now you bear the burden of its power.
Marla's eyes widen in horror as her body begins to convulse. She lets out a demonic scream, her voice echoing with the anguish and fury of the demon she had summoned. Her form begins to twist and contort, her skin stretching and darkening, her limbs elongating into grotesque shapes. The transformation is agonizing, and Marla's screams fill the cabin, reverberating off the walls. The witch watches impassively, her expression unchanged.
You wished for Pumpkinhead's power. Now, you shall become the next vessel of that dark force.
Marla's screams gradually turn into guttural roars as her humanity slips away. Her eyes glow with an unholy light, and her features morph into the horrific visage of Pumpkinhead. The curse has taken hold, and the once grieving mother is now the demon of vengeance, bound to the cycle of retribution she had set in motion. As the transformation completes, the new Pumpkinhead stands, towering and menacing. The witch, unfazed, nods in approval.
Go now, and fulfill the curse. You are the embodiment of vengeance, and your rage will know no end.
With one last, blood-curdling roar, the transformed Marla, now Pumpkinhead, bursts through the cabin door and disappears into the night, ready to exact vengeance once more. The witch returns to her rituals, knowing that the dark cycle of revenge will continue, fed by the endless sorrow and fury of those who seek her dark bargains. Now that we've witnessed the intense battle between Jason Voorhees and Pumpkinhead, let's delve into why the AI chose Jason as the victor. We'll break down their abilities and why Jason would triumph in most encounters. Both Jason Voorhees and Pumpkinhead possess incredible strength and regenerative healing, making them exceptionally tough to kill. However, Jason's relentless endurance and combat experience give him a critical edge. His ability to adapt to different environments and situations allows him to use his surroundings to his advantage, making him a versatile and formidable opponent. Pumpkinhead, while driven by supernatural vengeance, is often guided by raw emotion and rage. This can make it less strategic and more predictable in a fight. Jason, on the other hand, is methodical and relentless, able to exploit his opponent's weaknesses with precision. While Pumpkinhead's dark magic and supernatural abilities make it a formidable adversary, Jason's combination of resilience, tactical skill, and unyielding determination means he would ultimately prevail in the majority of encounters. The AI's analysis concludes that Jason's relentless nature and combat prowess would lead him to victory over Pumpkinhead. Thank you for tuning into another exciting episode of Scripted by Machines. We hope you enjoyed the intense showdown between Jason Voorhees and Pumpkinhead. We love hearing from you, so be sure to comment below with your suggestions for future battles. Your idea might just be the next epic encounter on Scripted by Machines. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay safe and keep your nightmares at bay. And now, for the extended ending. In the dark recesses of the forest, the echoes of a demonic transformation have faded, and a new terror is born. Marla Dixon, now the new embodiment of Pumpkinhead, rises from the witch's cabin, driven by an insatiable desire for vengeance. Her transformation complete, she sets out to confront Jason Voorhees once more, determined to finish what it originally failed to do. As the newly transformed Pumpkinhead, it moves with a supernatural grace, its senses heightened and its fury intensified. The forest, still bearing the scars of the previous battle, seems to guide its steps toward Crystal Lake, where Jason Voorhees lurks, ever ready to kill. Jason, having returned to his relentless hunt for new victims, senses a familiar presence. The air grows heavy with an ominous tension, and the forest grows eerily silent. He knows the battle is far from over. Pumpkinhead emerges from the shadows, its eyes glowing with unholy light. Jason stands in a clearing, his machete gleaming in the moonlight, ready for the next confrontation. Without hesitation, Pumpkinhead charges, its claws extended and ready to tear through its foe. Jason swings his machete with deadly precision, but Pumpkinhead's agility allows it to dodge the attack. It retaliates with a powerful swipe, sending Jason staggering backward. The two monsters clash once more, their fierce battle shaking the very ground beneath them. The forest becomes a war zone as the two titans exchange blows. Jason's brute strength and unyielding endurance are matched by Pumpkinhead's supernatural agility and relentless fury. Each strike, each crash, echoes through the trees, the sounds of their battle reverberating in the night. Pumpkinhead uses its ability to manipulate the environment, causing roots to entangle Jason's legs. Jason, however, slashes through the roots with his machete, breaking free and countering with a powerful punch that sends Pumpkinhead crashing into a tree. Despite the onslaught, Pumpkinhead rises again, its determination unbroken. It lunges at Jason, its claws finding their mark and tearing through his flesh. Jason, unfazed by pain, continues his assault, his rage fueling his attacks. He grabs a fallen branch and swings it with all his might, striking Pumpkinhead across the head. The battle reaches its peak as both combatants, bloodied and battered, refuse to yield. Jason's relentless assault continues to push Pumpkinhead, but the demon's unyielding fury and supernatural strength begin to turn the tide. Jason swings his machete with brutal force, but Pumpkinhead, moving with eerie agility, dodges the attack and counters with a powerful swipe of its claws. The blow sends Jason staggering back, his grip on the machete loosening. As he struggles to regain his footing, Pumpkinhead seizes the moment and closes the distance with terrifying speed. With a demonic roar, Pumpkinhead lunges at Jason, its claws tearing through his flesh. Jason, unfazed by pain, retaliates with a vicious punch, but Pumpkinhead absorbs the blow, its eyes glowing with unholy light. It reaches out with one massive hand and grabs Jason by the skull, lifting him off the ground. Jason thrashes and struggles, but Pumpkinhead's grip is unbreakable. The demon's claws dig into Jason's head, and with a surge of dark energy, Pumpkinhead begins to squeeze. The immense pressure causes cracks to appear in Jason's mask, and a low, guttural sound escapes him as the demonic force intensifies. Pumpkinhead's eyes blaze with fury and satisfaction as it tightens its grip, the crack spreading across Jason's skull. With one final, monstrous squeeze, Pumpkinhead crushes Jason's head, the force splintering bone and shattering the mask. Jason's body goes limp, and Pumpkinhead releases its hold, letting the lifeless form of the killer fall to the ground. Pumpkinhead stands victorious, its chest heaving with exertion. The forest falls silent once more, the echoes of their battle fading into the night. As Jason's body lies motionless on the forest floor, Pumpkinhead lets out a triumphant roar, its victory cemented in the blood-soaked ground of Crystal Lake. The cycle of vengeance has reached a new chapter, with Pumpkinhead standing as the victorious force of retribution. The darkness of Crystal Lake may have been momentarily lifted, but the tale of Pumpkinhead's triumph will become yet another haunting story whispered in the dead of night. Thank you for joining us for this thrilling continuation of our story. Stay tuned to see all the unused pictures, and hear some AI-created songs. Until next time, stay safe and keep your nightmares at bay.
Down by the lake where the shadows creep, Jason's on the loose and he's on a killing streak, with a hockey mask and a blade so sharp. He's the king of the camp and he's breaking hearts. Oh, it's a spooky night jamboree where the monsters dance in the moonlight glee. Jason's on the prowl and Pumpkinhead's near. Better watch your back when the night draws near. Deep in the woods where the fog rolls in, Pumpkinhead's awake and his hunt begins. Called by revenge with eyes that glow, he's a legend of terror, don't you know? Oh, it's a spooky night jamboree where the monsters dance in the moonlight glee. Jason's on the prowl and Pumpkinhead's near. Better watch your back when the night draws near. In the moonlit glade, there's a chill in the air. Jason's on the prowl, you better beware. With a silent stride and a deadly grace, he's the terror of the night with a haunting face. Oh, it's a spooky night jamboree where the monsters dance in the moonlight glee. Jason's on the prowl and Pumpkinhead's near. Better watch your back when the night draws near. Pumpkinhead rises from the earth so dark, seeking out the guilty, leaving his mark. Summoned by a curse with a heart of stone, in the woods he roams, never alone. Oh, it's a spooky night jamboree where the monsters dance in the moonlight glee. Jason's on the prowl and Pumpkinhead's near. Better watch your back when the night draws near. Two monsters of the night with a tale to tell. In the flickering shadows they weave their spell. When the legends collide, you better beware, for Jason and Pumpkinhead rule the night air. In the haunted woods where the echoes scream, Jason and Pumpkinhead a nightmare team, with a thirst for fear and a lust for fright that turn the darkened woods into a deadly night. Oh, it's a spooky night jamboree where the monsters dance in the moonlight glee. Jason's on the prowl and Pumpkinhead's near. Better watch your back when the night draws near. Through the twisted trees and the haunted glen, Jason hunts his prey again and again. With a silent rage and a killer's might, he prowls the woods in the dead of night. Oh, it's a spooky night jamboree where the monsters dance in the moonlight glee. Jason's on the prowl and Pumpkinhead's near. Better watch your back when the night draws near. So if you're out late and the wind starts to moan, remember these names and don't roam alone. For Jason and Pumpkinhead are out tonight. In the forest shadows, they'll give you a fright.
In the heart of the forest where the shadows play, Jason roams the night, looking for his prey. With a mask on his face and a blade in his hand, he's the nightmare that haunts this haunted land. From the depths of the earth, Pumpkinhead rises, seeking out the guilty, bringing dark surprises. Summoned by vengeance with eyes of flame, in the tales of terror he's earned his name. Oh, legends of the night, they come alive. In the moon's pale light they strive. Jason and Pumpkinhead, a deadly fight. In the darkened woods they own the night. In the haunted glen where the whispers grow, Jason moves with stealth, silent and slow. His machete gleams in the pale moon's glow. He's the terror of the night, an unstoppable foe. Pumpkinhead's fury rising from the grave. In the forest dark, his soul can't be saved. With claws like daggers and a heart of stone, he hunts the guilty, never alone. Oh, legends of the night, they come alive. In the moon's pale light they strive. Jason and Pumpkinhead, a deadly fight. In the darkened woods they own the night. When the stars fade out and the wind starts to howl, two monsters clash in a deadly prowl. In the eerie silence their stories unfold. vengeance so dark and cold. In the dead of night where the brave won't tread, Jason and Pumpkinhead filling hearts with dread. One seeks the campers, the other seeks revenge. In this dance of doom, there's no defense. Oh, legends of the night, they come alive. In the moon's pale light they strive. Jason and Pumpkinhead, a deadly fight. In the darkened woods they own the night. In the twilight hour when the shadows loom, Jason's silent steps lead to impending doom. Through the misty woods his presence known. In the realm of fear he claims his throne. Oh, legends of the night, they come alive. In the moon's pale light they strive. Jason and Pumpkinhead, a deadly fight. In the darkened woods they own the night. Two titans of terror in a clash so grand, battling in shadows in the cursed land. When the night is dark and the screams are loud, their legends grow fierce and proud. Through the ancient oaks where the spirits dwell, Pumpkinhead's roar cast a chilling spell. With a beastly growl and a vengeful might, he rose the night in a fearsome flight. In the midnight mist where the darkness reigns, Jason's heavy breath like a ghost. Oh, legends of the night, they come alive. In the moon's pale light they strive. Jason and Pumpkinhead, a deadly fight. In the darkened woods they own the night. So heed the warnings when the night grows cold. Of Jason and Pumpkinhead the story's told. In the forest deep where shadows conspire, their legends burn like an endless fire. So heed the warnings when the night grows cold. Of Jason and Pumpkinhead the story's told. In the forest deep where shadows conspire, their legends burn like an endless fire.
Shoo-be-doo-wop in the shadows of Crystal Lake. With a mask and silent stride, he's a spooky guy. Nowhere to hide from a grave so old. Pumpkinhead ascends, zip zap zoobie-dee. Vengeance never ends with eyes that burn like fiery coals. Scooby-Doo-Doo-Wop, reclaiming souls. In the foggy night and the silent scream, bada bing bada boom like a waking dream. From the earth his fury spreads, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Wop, born from the dead. Oh, echoes of the night, Shooby-Doo in the pale moonlight. Jason and Pumpkinhead, bebop-doo-wop, filling hearts with dread. In the midnight hour Jason stalks his prey. Zip zap zoobie-dee, no words to say. His machete gleams with a deadly light. Shoo-wop, endless night. Pumpkinhead's fury knows no bounds. Zip zap zoobie-dee in cursive ground, with claws and fangs and a monstrous roar. Scoo-wop before. In the haunted glen where nightmares grow, bada bing bada boom, power shows. A force of nature born from pain. Doobie-doo-doo-wop, can't explain. Oh, echoes of the night, Shooby-Doo in the pale moonlight. Jason and Pumpkinhead, bebop-doo-wop, filling hearts with dread. In the depths of night where echoes cry, zip zap zoobie-dee must fly. Jason silent kill, Pumpkinhead brave. Shoo-wop on a darkened stage. Jason's heart is cold, a voice so deep. Bada bing bada boom, shadows creep. A force of evil pure and stark. Doobie-doo-doo-wop in the dark. Through the ancient woods Pumpkinhead strides. Zip zap zoobie-dee, eyes so wide. A demon's wrath in a monstrous form. Scooby-Doo-Doo-Wop brings the storm. When the wind is high and the leaves do sway, bada bing bada boom, lost their way. In the darkest night his fury burns. Doobie-Doo-Doo-Wop never turns. Oh, echoes of the night, Shooby-Doo in the pale moonlight. Jason and Pumpkinhead, bebop-doo-wop, filling hearts with dread. In the cursed woods where the spirits wail, Zip zap zoobie horrors unveil. One born from vengeance, the other from hate. Shoo wop, seal your fate. Jason's heavy breath like a haunting song. Bada bing, bada boo, where he belongs. With the killer's instinct and a ruthless mind. Doobie doo doo wop in the night. In the eerie silence where whispers fade, zip zap zoobie shadows lay. A force of nature, dark and grim. Shoo wop, beware of him. Oh, echoes of the night, shoo-be-doo in the pale moonlight. Jason and Pumpkinhead, bebop doo wop, filling hearts with dread. So when darkness falls and the night is still, zip zap zoobie-dee, their thrill. For Jason and Pumpkinhead will forever roam. Shoo wop, you're never alone.